We've quizzed about places, we've quizzed about people, we've quizzed about objects, we've quizzed about events, and now it's time to expand our ambit and quiz about all things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small. Hello everyone and welcome to the fifth quiz in the ProQuizzin League Battle of the Youth. This is the Nature and Wildlife Quiz, and as always, I'm joined by my colleague and fellow cheerleader, Shamonnoy Banerjee.
Yeah, hi Dhruv. Great to be back once again, and this is the Nature and Wildlife Quiz. Before we progress, we need to take a look at what the league standing currently looks at. Dhruv, tell us about the league standing at the moment.
All right, so as you can see, with 23 points, the Bengaluru Aces have what looks to be like a comfortable lead at the top. Of course, it's going to take more than just one quiz to knock them off that place. But you've got the Kolkata Wizards, who started off a little slow in the first episode, but have really come up strongly since then. You've got the Ahmedabad Intellects in third place with 14 points, the Erudites with 13, then the Brainiacs and the Geeks both at 11. So like I said, while we may not see a huge change in the order, at least at the top, but of course, everything is a major effort. The Aces will try to hold on to their lead. The lower ranked teams are going to attempt to mount a challenge to ultimately dethrone them. Anything could happen. Let's not waste any time. Let's meet our 6 participants for today. Representing the Delhi Brainiacs, Mrityunjay Shukla, and of course the Brainiacs today are the home team, which means of course that they get to decide which direction the third round moves in, and they've also gotten to decide the seating order for today's quiz. So they're going first, followed by the Kolkata Wizards represented by Pratyush Singhal. You've got Soumya Sharma leading the Ahmedabad Intellects. Adarsh Mohapatra returns to represent the Mumbai Geeks. G. Akshay returns to represent the Chennai Erudites. And we've got Anurag Bera representing the league leaders at this moment, the Bengaluru Aces. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight to the very first round of the quiz. Shamonnoy, would you just quickly take us through the rules for the first round for those who are watching it for the first time?
Yeah, absolutely, Dhruv. The first round is as usual called the Knives Out. Knives Out is basically you have 3 clues. If you get it right in the first, you get a plus 150. If you get it right in the second clue, you get a plus 100. And if you get it right with all the clues visible on the screen, then you get a plus 50. However, you can double your score at any point in time if you feel that you're confident enough of the question. You can go for a double, use your 2x card, and of course, this round does not pass. So without further ado, Dhruv, let's take a look at the first question, which should be directed to the Delhi Brainiacs, the home team.
All right, on your screen now. Delhi Brainiacs. Apart from northern and southern, 2 of my other species include reticulated and Maasai. So Maasai would give a geographical clue there, Shamonnoy?
Yes, absolutely. Mrityunjay should go for a plus 150. Let's hear an answer from.
Okay, the first guess, rhinoceros.
He says rhinoceros. That's the wrong answer. Let's take a look at the second clue for 100 points. My neck has 7 vertebrae, just like an average human, and my favorite grub is the acacia tree.
Mrityunjay thinking hard for 100 points.
Is it the gibbon?
He's gone for the gibbon, and the gibbon is also incorrect. And for 50 points, a gentle giant of the African savanna. I roam around in groups called towers and engage in tussles of dominance called necking. So 2 clues drawing attention to necks. Necking should be a sitter now.
Wildebeests.
Wildebeest, he says, and he is incorrect again. Let's take a look at the answer. I thought this should have been cracked, at least in the second clue. He's cursing himself. It's the giraffe. 7 vertebrae in the neck, lots of references to the neck. Should have been a sitter, but sometimes it just so happens that you miss the obvious. No worries. There's still time to go. Kolkata Wizards already praying. Pratyush Singhal. Direct question. First clue. Although I will rarely eat small animals and fish, an evergreen perennial grass counts for 99% of my diet. Healthy creature. Let's see if the Wizards can identify.
I'll guess panda.
He's gone for panda. Is panda the right answer? Indeed it is. The giant panda. 150 points by the Wizards. The wizards are up and running. Let's take a look at the other clues which weren't required, Shamunai.
Absolutely, Dhruv. So the second clue was a hint to the natural ability to camouflage in snow and shade. And the third was featured prominently on the logo since 1961. That was, of course, a reference to the WWF. TT, the panda, we see the creature on the logo of the WWF. So we move on to the third question. This will be direct to Shaumya Sharma and the intellects. Dhruv, take it away.
First clue on your screen now. I belong to the family Macropus, literally Bigfoot, that allows me to leap 30 feet in a single bound.
Is the answer kangaroo?
The intellects leap at the answer, and it's more than a 30-foot leap because they're right. This is indeed the kangaroo. Excellent crack there. So two teams wasting no time in maxing their first round scores. Very good guess there. The other two clues, of course, lives in groups of mobs, kicks and bites their opponents. Females have a fold in the skin to cradle joeys. So this wouldn't have gone unanswered, I'm pretty sure. All right, the geeks, Adarsh Mahapatra. A very, very good quizzer. Very steady head, very calm. Let's see. I have two species, Eastern and Western, with the mountain subspecies being an endangered one. Can he pull something just out of the first clue?
It's a gorilla.
He's gone for gorilla. Would you believe it? 3 consecutive 150s, Shamunai. This is brilliant quizzing by all three.
All seasoned quizzers, all top ranked quizzers in terms of their training scores, which happened on our knowledge app. We will take a look at the 2 clues nonetheless for our viewers. 2 clues to come. I live in 2 isolated groups, one in the Virunga volcanoes area and the other in Duin Impenetrable National Park. The third was I'm one of the biggest, most powerful living primates and share 98% of DNA with humans. Okay, so this would go to G. Akshay and the erudites. So let's see the first clue.
New Yorker by birth, after parents' divorce, mother married Ramakrishna Chattopadhyay, son of Kamala Devi and Harindranath Chattopadhyay. So we suddenly do a shift from creatures to people.
And nature and wildlife quiz, what kind of people can this be? I'm sure our viewers are also thinking. So is G. Akshay. G. Akshay seems to have a guess. Let's hear an answer from him.
He's gone for Romulus Whittaker.
Romulus Whittaker. He does the crocodile park in Chennai.
And he does the Chennai erudites proud. He knows the crocodile park in Chennai and he says Romulus Whittaker, and he's absolutely right. 4 teams, one after another, get 150 points, Shamunai, without requiring the additional clues.
Yeah, but still for the viewers, after my RP tour, I apprenticed from 1963 to 65 at the Miami Serpentarium. That's a clue to the places where snakes are raised with Bill Haas. But at the Padma Shri in 2018, I lent my name to a species of an Indian boa and a krait. So Romulus Whittaker picked his poison early in his life. But we moved to Anurag Beda and the leaders of the league till now, the aces. First clue, Dhruv, let's see.
In Thailand and Malaysia, I am harvested by trained pig-tailed macaques or macaques.
First, this is at water. My first guess is water. My first guess is at water. My first guess is water.
His first guess is incorrect. Well, at least he guessed. Second clue, the Maldives have me on their coat of arms because of my immense economic significance. So we're not talking about a creature anymore. Remember, it's a nature and wildlife quiz.
Okay, the next quiz.
He's gone for the third clue. Portuguese sailors thought the 3 small holes resemble a smile and hence gave me the name Grinning Face. Not one of the easier answers. Would require a bit of thinking. Yeah, the aces throw in the towel. Let's take a look at the answer. This was the coconut palm. Remember, it's a nature and wildlife quiz, so probably the toughest of this round, wouldn't you say, Shaman, compared to the others?
Yes, indeed, quite fun-wise, but I guess this is right from our backyard. So I'm sure all of us have consumed this one point of time, and you had some geographical clues, the fact that it was economically significant to the tropics. But nonetheless, Anurag having slightly a tougher day at the moment, but we'll take a look at the scores. Dhruv, at the end of round one, let's look at the scores.
All right, so there are literally just two scores to announce, 0 and 150. The Brainiacs and the Aces yet to score. All the others on 150. They'll be feeling good. They'll be feeling happy. They will not be feeling comfortable because now it's time for round two, and we've seen the wild swinging scores in the past few quizzes that make this round so exciting to watch. Shamona, let's very quickly take our viewers through the rules of round two.
Yes, absolutely. And as my partner in crime, Dhruv, just said that there's no such thing called a comfortable lead. Here we have 6 questions clockwise, 1 direct for each team. It has differential passing. So for a direct question, you get 100 points. But per pass, the value increases the number of passes, right? So you have 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, and the sixth team essentially has a shot of 350 points. So ideally, here you have to ensure that you get your direct and stop other teams from pouncing on those questions. So we take a look at the first direct, which should be direct for team number 1, which is the Delhi Brainiacs. Dhruv, let's take a look at the question for Brainiacs.
All right. Hardly the kind of dogs that can curl up on your lap, which hirsute character and a loyal mate was inspired by George Lucas's Alaskan Malamute. This is a direct for Mrityunjay. Bit of pressure on him since he's been on 0 from the first round, but this has keywords that should be able to give them a sense of which universe to answer from.
Is it Scooby-Doo?
He says Scooby-Doo. Wrong. Passes to the Wizards.
Is it the Dalmatian?
Dalmatians say the Wizards. They're wrong. Passes to the Intellects.
Is it Chewbacca?
Chewbacca say the Intellects. And look at his smile. He knows he's right. He gets 200 points on the bonus. So the Intellects already on 350. And, well, I think Mrityunjay caught on to the fact that it's probably a fictional beast, but couldn't do anything more than that. No matter. Direct now for the Kolkata Wizards and 100 points. An iconographic symbol of peace and specifically an emblem of hope during the Cold War, which creature was depicted in the 1949 work of art named La Colombe?
I'll guess the dove.
He says dove. And he gets 100 points. It is indeed the dove. The Wizards haven't broken that folded hand pose. Well, now they've broken it and it's doing them well. They're on 250 points. Good quizzing so far. All right, we move now to the Intellects. The most powerful of these, discovered in the 21st century, has the species name voltae, which fish, essentially a misnomer, as unlike others, it lays its eggs in fresh water and not in ocean water, and has no teeth nor any dorsal fin. Lots of descriptions there.
Yes, of course, and quite a bit of tangential clues.
So, is it the sea bass?
He's gone for sea bass. It's not so. Passes to Adarsh and the Geeks. 150 points.
I'll say electric eel.
Says electric eel. And he's absolutely right. 150 points on the bonus. Like I said, steady, excellent quizzing. And he gets a direct now. So, chance to really get big points in this round. Mumbai Geeks, you're direct on screen now. Fetishized by Bollywood films and Bangladeshi cricketers, which venomous creature, part of a big four, has a triply tautonomous scientific name? Tautonomous, of course, meaning...
Cobra.
Well, one didn't need to explain what tautonomous means. He's understood. Indian cobra, spectacle cobra, Asian cobra, binoculate cobra, Naya. Is that the right spelling, pronunciation, Shamunai?
I hope so. I'm at the same boat as you.
Of course, it could be Naja. That's more relative to the subcontinent. Okay, G. Akshay. Jyoti Prasad Rajkhoa, the then governor of a particular Indian state, thought it was a cow. So when he saw one being slaughtered outside the Raj Bhavan, he called it cow slaughter and cited it as a collapse of law and order in the state. Which animal, most valued and sacred for the Nishi committee, is this? So we're talking about an animal that was mistaken for a cow. That itself would be a hint.
Nilgai.
He says Nilgai. He is incorrect. And I pass it to the aces. Yet to get off the mark.
Dugong.
He's gone for Dugong. No. For 200 points, the Brainiacs.
Is it the Sangai?
He says Sangai. He's also wrong. 250 points. Wizards.
Is it the zero?
Passes for 300 points to the intellects.
Is it the Barasingha?
No. And now for 350 points to the geeks.
I'll guess Mithun.
He goes for the Mithun. Can he get 350 points? Can he?
It's famous in the Northeast. I think Arunachal Pradesh.
He has some funda behind it. He has some knowledge. And a little knowledge is a wonderful thing. He gets 350 points, Shamunai. Look at that. That's huge.
Yeah, indeed. A cobra and a Mithun question back to back. Adarsh Kumar Mohapatra literally showing his skills there. We move to the last and final question, which will be Director Anurag. Can he open his account now? Let's take a look at Anurag's question.
It can't be easy to be in his shoes, but he's got to stay calm and focused. Chinese tradition, as inscribed in old texts, holds that these objects, ground to powder or burnt to ash, can be powerfully used against ant bites, hysterias, evil spirits, malaria, hemorrhoids, and pinworms. Science doesn't support these claims. They merely consist of keratin, the same material as our hair and nails. So what sort of objects are these? So a very nice question, mixing up beliefs as well as science and nature, as indeed a quiz should.
Elephant teeth. Is it elephant teeth?
Unfortunately, he stays on zero. It passes to the Delhi Brainiacs.
Rhino horns.
Rhino horns, not right, for 200 points. Wizards.
I'll say the panda skin.
Panda skin is wrong. Pass it to the intellects, 250 points.
Is it the swift nests?
And now it's loaded up for 300 points with the geeks.
Yes, crab shells.
No, not 2 times lucky. G. Akshay?
Bird's nest.
Bird's nest is wrong. Sigh of relief, Anurag Bera. Nobody gets this right. Let's take a look at the answer. This one passes out of course. It's pangolin scales. Unfortunately, it struck G. Akshay a bit too late. Of course, pangolin scales, Shamunai, related to COVID, rather COVID scares.
Absolutely. Indeed, and they were thought to be, in the initial days, it was thought that it actually passes to pangolins as well, and very safely to the Chinese. So after 2 rounds, Dhruv, let's take a look at the scores.
All right, there are 2 teams that won't be happy at the halfway point of the quiz because they're yet to get off the mark. And of course, the Brainiacs and the Aces still on 0. Again, we're only halfway through the quiz. There's still lots and lots of scope to score. But right now, with 150 points, the Erudites, with 250 points, the Wizards, With 350 points in second place are the Intellects, and with a very, very commendable lead, the Mumbai Geeks with 750 points. All right, since we're 2 rounds down, you know what time that is. It's time for a strategic timeout. It's time for the teams to sort of regroup, re-strategize, talk to the management, just get a little bit of oil back into the system, gears running, guns blazing. We'll see them back in 2 minutes' time. See you soon. All right, we're back and we're ready for round 3 in the Nature and Wildlife quiz of the ProQuizzin League Battle of the Youth. Shamunai, it's time to put our guns away.
Yeah, absolutely. The round 3 is, of course, called the Don't Shoot the Messenger. There are 6 two-tire questions accompanied with a visual, 1 direct for each team. If a team gets it right with the visual itself, they get a plus 200, but they can always ask for a clue, in which case they get a plus 100. This round passes in the direction in which the home team will decide. So for a pass, there's a flat 100 points. Now the 2x cards are back, so that means you can use your double cards and just double your score. We have seen some intelligent use of the 2x cards in the league. If you have followed, you would know that there are a few teams who are doing it really good. Having said that, Dhruv, let's take a look at our special guest today.
Our special guest today is Devarshi Dattagupta. He's a founder member of the Kolkata Cloud Chasers, a group of photographers who document extreme weather conditions in eastern India. Very specialized and a very, very exciting job they have. They get to see things that most of us would just dream of seeing, and perhaps they can bring some of that to bear via their video questions. All right, the first question will now go to the home team, the Delhi Brainiacs. Let's see what Devarshi has via video.
So here goes the first question. Unlike octopi, the arms of the cephalopod are connected by a skin-like webbing, which reminds people of a cape-wearing creature. Which creature are they named for?
All right. Beautiful photograph we have over there. Unlike the octopi, the arms of this cephalopod are connected by a skin-like webbing, which reminds people of a cape-wearing creature. Which creature are they named for? So you've got a stunning bit of photography there. A question filled with lots of clues, but Mrityunjay doesn't look happy with what he has.
Yes, a clue, yeah.
He's gone for a second clue. It's worth 100 points now. And the second clue, popping up on your screen now, these folkloric creatures can be warded off with garlic or killed with a stake through the heart. Sitter there, come on now.
Yeah, absolutely. We need just the creature here and not exactly this creature, but the ones they're named for.
Is it Dracula?
He says Dracula. Bad miss, I'd say. Passes to the Wizards.
Okay.
Oh, I'll guess. No, I'll pass.
He passes. It passes to Soumya of the Intellects.
Is it vampire bat?
He says vampire bat. Well, the key word we were looking for is vampire. It is indeed the vampire. It's the vampire squid, of course. Unfortunately, Mrityunjay wasn't able to catch on to the hint well enough. He said Dracula, misses out, unfortunately. No matter, there still is time for both the Aces and the Brainiacs. It's the second question now, direct for the Kolkata Wizards. Coming up on your screen now.
Identify this creature, a subspecies of the plains zebra, whose stripes faded below the neck.
This, of course, is a famous black and white photograph. The Wizards look confident.
Yeah, I will 4x this. I'll use both my doubles.
My, he wants to use both his doubles.
Written in the rules that we both can use the same.
the Wizards and their 2x cards. It's the story of
in
this.
In both cases, I get the same points then.
You have to love them. You have to. I think this is part of the team strategy. Let's just have as much fun with the 2x cards as possible. But unfortunately, no.
Okay, I double this.
He's doubled this for 400 points.
Quagga.
And he's right. This is indeed the Quagga. So he, of course, wanted to get more points for this. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Doesn't work that way. He's got to be satisfied with 200, and 200 is pretty good. The quagga, of course, now extinct, and that's the last known photograph of the quagga in the African continent. All right, the intellects now with their direct. 450 points they're on. Their question coming up on screen now.
A team of conservationists led by Purnima Devi Burman are trying to protect their feathered friends, often dismissed as dirty and ugly. Which winged scavenger living in precarious conditions is this?
All right, beautiful photograph again. Very, very interesting photograph, very interestingly framed. Unusual looking bird. The question is, team of conservationists led by Purnima Devi Burman are trying to protect their feathered friends dismissed as dirty and ugly. So which scavenger is this? And the photograph is indicative of the kind of conditions they live in.
I'll go for the second clue.
He's taken the second clue, Shamanai. Wasn't able to crack it from the first. Swallow of bones. And that's the local name.
Yeah, I mean, he can translate it actually, but let's hear an answer from him.
Okay, so I'll go with the scarlet ibis.
Scarlet ibis, he says. Not the right answer. Adarsh.
I'll say hard gila.
There's a reason they're in the lead. They're coming up with answers like this. They deserve to be in the lead. This is, of course, the great adjutant stock or the hard gila. Hard, of course, is bones. Gila is swallow. So hard gila, quite literally, as Shamanai said, he just put it together. Very good answer by Adarsh.
And I think this time the direct question goes to Adarsh, so he must be waiting for his question. Let's take a look at the fourth question of this round. Adarsh is direct. Let's hear it from our guest quizmaster.
Which bird having an extremely long tongue, which they wrap around its brain, is this? Which bird having an extremely long tongue, which they wrap around their brains, is this?
Woodpecker.
Which?
Oh, the geeks haven't waited for the question.
Woodpecker.
They say woodpecker, they're confident.
It cushions their brain because of the...
My goodness, look at these guys go. The geeks are unstoppable today. Shamanai, forget the second clue. We didn't even get to see the first clue.
Indeed, but Adarsh knew and he gets it absolutely right. 200 points and the first thousander. I mean, I can't call that centurion, but we have to say.
Millennial?
I don't know, some sort of a millennial. Indeed, we're not millennials here, but nonetheless, Adarsh absolutely brilliant crack there. 1,050 points as he is standing right now. So the next question goes to G. Akshay.
Considered as one of its 12 set pieces, which comic strip featured this tree that always dashed the protagonist's hope of flying a kite? Considered as one of its 12 set pieces, which comic strip featured this tree that always dashed the protagonist's hope of flying a kite?
All right, an interesting question for G. Akshay. You've got a photograph there. One of its 12 set pieces, which comic strip featured this tree?
And take the
He's asked for a clue. With 17,897 strips published in all, it is arguably the longest story ever told by one human being. Very nicely worded clue over there. Should be easy.
peanuts.
And it's absolutely the correct answer. This is indeed the Peanuts. G. Akshay gets his 100 points. He'll be happy with that. And now, over to the aces who are still on zero. Here's a chance to get 200 points at least. Let's see if they can convert it.
Which alliteratively named migratory bird was officially classified as extinct when Martha died on 1st September 1914 at the Cincinnati Zoo?
All right, another black and white photo over here. Which alliteratively named migratory bird was officially classified as extinct when Martha died in 1914, the 1st of September at the Cincinnati Zoo? Alliteratively named migratory birds. So lots of clues, timeline, everything over there, Shamanai. But he wants yet another clue. The name comes from the bird's travel route around North America.
Well, you have a telltale geographical clues there. Other teams are really envying Anurag at this moment.
Albatross.
He says albatross, not an alliterative answer. Passes to the Brainiacs.
It's the passenger pigeon. Passenger pigeon.
Okay, will the Brainiacs get off the mark? They will. They've got 100 points. This is the passenger pigeon. All the clues were there. Reference to a migratory, a travel route around North America, alliterative. Big relief. Let's take a look at the scores at the end of the third round. All right, so the Delhi Brainiacs just scoring on the last question of the third round, getting onto the score sheet with 100 points, 250 points for the erudites, 450 for the intellects, 650, very good performance by the Kolkata Wizards, and unfortunately, no points yet for the aces, but the story of the quiz so far, the first 1,000 score we've seen in the Battle of the Youth, and it's come from the Mumbai Geeks and Adarsh Mahapatra. So his managers, his team, his supporters, they'll all be cheering, they'll be delighted. An excellent performance by the Geeks, and it's really put a lot of pressure on the aces to do well in the last round. Let's see whether any team can actually overhaul this 1,050 score. It can happen mathematically. Shravanai, let's take a look quickly at the rules of the fourth round.
The fourth and final round is very appropriately called the final frontier. 6 questions, anti-clockwise, 1 direct for each team as usual. There's a differential passing, so there's a possibility, as Ruba was saying, that you could actually surpass Adarsh's score theoretically, but of course, he will not allow that easy. All right, direct question, you get 100 points per pass, you get 100 plus 15 the number of passes. So potentially, in a question, one team can get up to 350 points. So without further ado, let's take a look at the last 6 questions of the quiz. The first one, of course, going to the aces because we start anti-clockwise now.
All right, moving anti-clockwise, the aces with a chance to move from 0 to 100. They're direct. You have to feel for Anurag Bera. He's looking nervous. He's feeling the pressure. All right, which landmass that decided to move it millions of years ago can be connected with these unique biota? Just have to love the way these questions are framed. Little nuggets, little hints that you can just pick up on.
I can see some teams smiling, so they could probably take a look at the hint. This will direct to Anurag. They have to wait for their turn. Anurag thinking hard. He desperately needs to go out of his bad luck. Akshay is trying to dance to the tune.
I have no guess.
Unfortunately, he remains guessless and scoreless. Passes to the erudites.
Australia.
Australia. Oh, no, the erudites miss it as well. Wow.
Madagascar.
How casually can you accept 200 points on a platter?
I think one of them is the II. I don't know.
He's managed to identify the II. That's all he needs to do. I like to move it. The song from Madagascar. Beautiful coming together of pop culture, sometimes literature and nature and wildlife. Exactly the way quizzing should be. It's wonderful. There you have the lemur, the fossa, and the II. Those were the 3 photos. Unfortunately, the aces weren't able to capitalize. And now it's a direct for the erudites. G. Akshay, on your screen for 100 points, your question. Which national animal, known for bouncing up and down when scared, can be connected with these images? 3 photographs.
Also a telltale textual clue. Akshay should try to put this together and come up with a guess.
Springbok.
And he does do that indeed. The springbok it is. Shamanai, let's take a look at how the clues connect to the answer.
Yes, absolutely. That was, as you can see, the South African rugby team. So nicknamed the Springboks. That's a horn of a springbok. And that's the highway, the general area where they usually stay. So with that, we move on to the third question, which we direct to Adarsh Kumar.
Connect these images with a sylvan area that was turned into a national park at the behest of a king-turned conservationist. Adarsh nodding. Of course he is.
Bandhavgarh National Park.
He has an answer.
Ram gave Lakshman the area to protect or something. I forgot the king who made it into national.
Why be happy with 1,250 when you can get 1,350? Excellent quizzing there. Bandhavgarh National Park, Adarsh Mohapatra, but he really doesn't deserve to lose today's quiz, Shamunai. He's been superb.
Yeah, and I think he has just taken the quiz to a different level. That was the logo of the Rewa state, their insignia. Of course, Ram and Lakshman are slightly identified by Adarsh, and that was Sant Kabir. So all connects to Bandhavgarh, which literally means brother's fort. And with that, we move to the fourth question, which we direct to the Ahmedabad intellects. Soumya Sharma, yes, you're direct. Let's take a look at the question.
Which imperial creature, which might remind one of a despotic Jim Morrison persona, can be connected with these images? 4 photographs over there.
The third photograph especially should look familiar to all the teams.
I'll go with King Cobra again.
King Cobra, it's not going to be asked twice in the same quiz, surely. Pratyush and the Wizards, 150 points up for grabs.
I'll guess T-Rex,
He says T-Rex.
Jurassic Park glass.
Well, as Shabanai said, the third clue is the one that should give it away. He did latch on to the glasses. This is the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, these are, of course, the teeth of T-Rex. That is Stu Hendrickson found a T-Rex fossil. That is T-Rex the band. And that is the famous scene from Jurassic Park, right from our childhood days. Pratyush Singhal laps up 150. With 2 more questions to go, we will take a look at the score. Dhruv, let's take a look at the scores.
Okay, it's a close fight after the first place as of now. You've got the Geeks on 1350. Then you've got 800 for the Kolkata Wizards, 450 and 350 for the Intellects, 100 for the Brainiacs, and it looks out of reach for the Aces, who are still on 0. They might still score, but they're not going to win today's quiz for sure. All right, the second last question of the quiz coming up for the Kolkata Wizards. Connect an avian species with these images that gets its name in English due to the acrobatic displays of the male during breeding season. A lot of tension.
Indian roller.
And he says the Indian roller, and he's absolutely right. Shamunai, the Indian roller of the Neelkant fetches 100 points for the Kolkata Wizards. Let's take a look at the explanation.
Yeah, the Indian roller was the answer we were looking for, and Kolkata Wizards is on a roll. That is Shiva. Of course, Neelkant was the reference. Those are the states where Neelkant or Indian roller are the state bar of. And we have a lovely tradition of Vijaya Dashami, where there's a tradition of flying the Indian rollers as a harbinger of good fate. With that, we come to the last question of the Nature and Wildlife quiz, direct to Mrityunjay Shukla, the home team.
Whose name would correspond to this extinct genus of sperm whale? So you've got 4 sets of photos, 4 pairs of photos, person and creature, person and creature, person and creature, and they have to fill in the 4th person. All 3 famous faces, of course, Shabana, from completely different fields.
And of course, as you can guess, that there has to be a reason why the 4th one should be guessable. Mrityunjay trying to think hard. He seems clueless.
Pass.
Passes. Okay, a chance for the Aces to get 150.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is his last guess. Unfortunately, is wrong. G. Akshay, the erudites.
Mel Blanc. Mel Blanc.
Mel Blanc, he says. That's wrong. Okay, the geeks.
I guess Herman Melville. Moby Dick.
Of course, you've got to put the final nail in the coffin if you're the Mumbai Geeks today. Look at that. Herman Melville, as easy as that. Simple 200 points offered to the Mumbai Geeks, and they're not in any mood to mess that up today. They take their score to a whopping 1600. Let's take a look at the explanation, Shobhan Noy.
Yeah, I mean, 250 points at the last question, right? So you have Hitler, you have Johnny Depp, you have Attenborough. The fourth one would, of course, be Herman Melville, who has a species very appropriately of a sperm whale named after him. With that, we come to the end of this particular quiz. Mumbai Geeks winning hands down the final scores. Let's take a look at the final scores, Dhruv.
Well, there's nothing to be said. 1,600 points. So jaw-dropping performance by the Mumbai Geeks today. And it's a story of contrasts. Right at the bottom, unfortunately, the Bengaluru Aces, they've been absolutely brilliant so far in the competition, and no doubt they will be. Today, unfortunately, is not their day. They finished with 0. Very good performances, of course, from the Wizards with 900. Soumya Sharma in the Intellects with 450. 350 for G. Akshay, and the Brainiacs getting just the one answer right, but at least getting off the mark. They finished with 100 points in 5th place. All right, let's take a look at what that means for the entire points table. Remember, of course, the Bengaluru Aces were leading the points table, and today they finished with 0. Does that impact the points table in any way, Shobhan Noy?
I mean, should be, but I think Bengaluru was the clear leader till the fourth quiz. And we have Ahmedabad Intellects finishing with 4 points, Bengaluru with 1, Chennai on 3, Delhi Brainiacs on 2, Kolkata Wizards, they've come second and they get 5 points total, and Mumbai Geeks winning the quiz handsomely with 6 points. Okay, let's take a look at the standing as of now, what the league table looks like. The overall league table after 5 games. Bengaluru, well, still holding on to their lead. They are the current leaders of the ProQuizzin League Battle of the Youth at 24 points. Kolkata Wizards slightly catching up to them, but on 24 points difference with them. Ahmedabad Intellects on 18, but look at the next 2 positions. Mumbai on 17, that's quite a jump for Mumbai, and they would desperately need this at this point of time in the league. Chennai on 16 and Delhi Brainiacs currently on 13. Okay, my goodness, it's quite a very, very close competition as of now, as you can see in the ProQuizzin League. And even if a team scores 0, you have a leader in the same position, because this is a team game. Sometimes it will be in favor of you, sometimes it won't. But the best part of being in a team is because the other team members can carry you through. And this is exactly why quizzing is such a beautiful sport. All right, so I hand over to the proverbial microphone to my partner in crime, Dhruv Mukherjee, for the final honors.
Well, that's it for us today from the Nature and Wildlife quiz. Now, just in case there's an outside chance that you aren't entertained enough, and I highly doubt that's possible, but in case that's so, don't worry. Come back here for the 6th quiz, because it's the film and television quiz. And it's going to be a roller coaster ride of entertainment. I'm excited, Shobhan is excited, and of course the teams are buzzing. We're going to have a lot of fun in the next quiz, of course. See you for the 6th quiz in the ProQuizzin League Battle of the Youth. Until then, take care and stay safe, everyone.